tattoos, body modifications, and so much more. When it comes to enhancing the human body, the sky's the limit. However, sometimes certain individuals get carried away, which is why today we're gonna look at 6 people who took their tattoos too far. Listen, you guys waited almost 1 year for part 6 of this series, and I friggin' love you for it. So grab your popcorns, some coffee, and let's start. Number 6, Carol Prado. Carol is dubbed the Demon Woman and has a deep obsession with body modifications. Her first piercing was at the age of 16, and a few years later, she had her first tattoo. Long behold, as she continued that journey and studied further into body mods, Carol fell madly in love with it, to the point where she now has the majority of her body covered in ink and has gone as far as tattooing her eyeballs yellow. If you've been subbed to my channel long enough, then you know and you've seen quite a bit of that. But if you're new here, then just know that this is a pretty risky procedure that could make you go blind. However, that didn't scare her because she did it a second time, changing the color to red. Anyways, along with those enhancements, she also has horn implants and a split tongue. She's even done some work on her husband, Michelle Ferro du Prado, whom I've mentioned in previous videos. And newsflash, their journey is endless, but don't worry, I'm gonna keep you guys updated on them. Number 5, Raiden Dos Caras. Raiden is a huge tattoo enthusiast who's been getting inked since he was just 12. His nickname is the Skull of Two Faces and has spent over 12,000 euros on his body modifications, which includes quite a lot. Other than having 98% of his body tattooed, he also has his eyeballs inked black. However, it gets even crazier because Raiden has a forked tongue, a couple of horn implants, stretching of his earlobes, and also the top of his ear is, no more. But he also has the granddaddy of all body modifications, the one that only 4 people in the world have, and that's the removal of the nose is gone. Now, curiosity really strikes, and I have a ton of questions as to why someone wouldn't need the tip of their nose, and what would happen if they get sick and sneeze. Or even better, what happens in the wintertime when it gets really cold? Listen, I know I'm not the only one who's asking these questions, so if I ever get the answer, I got you, fam. With that being said, his ultimate goal is to be the most modified person in all of Latin America. But that's easier said than done, cause that side of the world has some of the most modified individuals I've ever seen, so I can't even imagine what kind of things he has to do in order to get that title. Number 4, Gabriela Peralta. Gabriela is one half of the most modified couple in the world, with her husband Victor being the other half. And don't worry, he's coming up on this list in just a minute. The couple has 98 modifications between them, and Gabriela herself has the majority of her body covered in tattoos. She says she's pretty much addicted to enhancing her body, which is why she modified it this much. So far, she has many piercings on her face, implants on her forehead, both her eyeballs inked black, a special procedure to turn her ears pointy, and her favorite one of all, the implants on her 2 hands. Number 3, Nicolo Severino, aka the Mutant. Nicolo says he sees beauty in horror and loves making changes to himself. For that reason, so far he has 70% of his body covered in pure black ink, including his whole face. This Italian man works as a contortionist and started his body modification journey when he was 18. He has 13 piercings on his face, his earlobes stretched, a split tongue, a couple of implants, and also his eyeballs are inked black. Now, just like Raiden, Nicolo also got rid of a piece of his ear, but a smaller portion of it. And ever since then, he's been storing them in a little glass jar so he could just keep them and look at them. Safe to say, whatever else he removes, he's gonna be adding that to the collection as well. It's kinda like catching Pokemon. But hey, as long as he's happy, it's none of my business. Nicolo urges people to freely express themselves and be comfortable with who they are, and his final goal is to be 100% covered in black ink from head to toe. Number 2, the German Instagrammer. We all have goals in life, and his is not to look like a human, and he spent over 12,500 euros to achieve this. So far, a good portion of his body is tattooed, with his arms being inked mostly black. His face, however, goes a bit different, as he tattooed puzzle pieces all over it. Very similar to Enigma, except this guy has much more colorful ink. He didn't stop there, cause he travels all over the world to different body mod artists in order to get more work done. And surprisingly, he's even done some work on himself. When he was 20, he had his first tongue split. then went ahead and got rid of a portion of his ear. I mean, who needs ears, right? Come on, stop it. These things, they're useless. Anyways, both rows of his teeth are also crowned in titanium, and just like everyone else on this list, he inked his eyeballs, and his color of choice was jet black. Obsessed and fascinated by body modifications, he loves how this outlet allows him to create and change himself into whatever he wants. Not to mention, for him, this is just the beginning. In the future, he's looking to do way more extreme enhancements. Number 1. Victor Peralta. Victor has 95% of his body covered in tattoos, including his, thing-a-ling. He got his first one when he was 13 years old, but it wasn't just any tattoo. He got the words "f*** on his knuckles. Oh, that's a rebel. Imagine having "f*** for your first tattoo. Oh my god. Anyways, Victor had a total of 80 artists from around the world working on his ink. But that's not the only thing he has. At one point, his face was covered by 40 piercings, and now he rocks a star implant on his forehead, has his ears expanded, a split tongue, and a little snippety snip of the top of his ear. But his eyeballs are also inked as well, with one of them being black and the other one being yellow, giving him a more unique look than the rest. However, out of all these modifications, he says the most painful one of all was the pigmentation of his tongue, because after he got it, he had difficulty breathing for a few hours. And despite all of this, he says him and his wife are never gonna stop getting modified. Their journey is gonna continue forever. Listen, I know we talk a lot about body modifications on this channel, and I'll always say this no matter what the enhancement is. Whether that's tattooing their entire body, doing crazy mods, or all sorts of plastic procedures. Hey, if that's what makes you happy, then more power to you. Because at the end of the day, someone doing procedures on their own body isn't hurting anyone else. So can we really judge? I don't think so. But at the same time, you're all entitled to your opinions as well, so I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Leave it in the comment sections below. Anyways, check out parts 1 through 5 of this series, smash that like button and subscribe button for a lot more content like this, and I'll see you guys next Saturday.